All right, we are now looking at drawing a network diagram to represent a map. Now, there is no hard and fast rule about it has to be in exactly the same positions, but I always find that if you keep it in the same relative spots, then you have less crossovers than you might otherwise. So it tends to be easier. However, with something like this, you're obviously going to get a fair few crossovers. All right, so what we're going to do is we've got the main highways between the capital cities in Australia, and we're going to draw a network diagram to represent that. So first thing I'm going to start off with is I'm going to put the vertices. So I've got P, D, we've got B over there. And like I said, they don't have to be in exactly the same positions, but it does make it easier if you've got them in relatively similar positions. I might move P just to there, and that way I can put Adelaide there, and I'm going to put Hobart down there. It doesn't really matter because Hobart's not connected to anything, but that's all right. So there we go. I now have a network diagram. Well, I have the vertices. I'm now going to connect these edges. So what I'm looking for is there a direct connection from one city to another without going through another city? So that there doesn't matter. I can get, if I drove from Perth to Darwin, I could get there without going through another city. Therefore, I have an edge going there. Simple as that. Can I get from Perth to Adelaide without going through another city? Yes, I can. Can I get from Adelaide to Melbourne? Yes, I can. Try and draw a decent line. Can I get from Melbourne to Canberra? Yes, I can. Can I get from can I get from Adelaide to Canberra? Yes, I can. Can I get from Adelaide to Sydney without going through anything? Yes, I can. Can I get from Adelaide to Brisbane without going through anything? Yes, I can. So I can go around these ones, and I'm not going through another capital city. Okay. Can I get from Canberra to Sydney? Yes. Can I get from Canberra to Brisbane? Yeah, I can go around that way. So, yes, I can do that as well. Sydney to Brisbane, I can definitely do. And then from Brisbane to Darwin, I can definitely do. Now, can I get... So this is a bit of a weird one. Can I get from Sydney to Darwin without going through another city? If I went down this way, I could then come up this way, but then I go through Brisbane. If I went this way and over here, then I'm going through Adelaide. So is there a route where I can get from Sydney to Darwin without going through another capital city? And my answer is no, there's not. Now, I've done a lot of them here, but I cannot be sure that I've done all of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to do these ones a bit more systematically so I can make sure that I've definitely covered them all. And the easiest way to do that is to start at a point, let's go Perth, and make sure you get all of it. So we know it's got a degree of 2 because there's 2 lines coming in. So we make sure we do 2 edges. So we've got one going to Darwin and one going to Adelaide. Okay, one going to Darwin, one going to Adelaide. That's Perth done now. Okay. Now I'll go to Darwin. Darwin has one going to Perth. That's already done. It has one going to Brisbane. Cool. It also has one going to Adelaide. There we go. That's good. Does it have any others that it can go through? No, because everything else, doesn't matter which way you go, to get to any of the other cities, it has to go through. So Darwin, if I want to get to Melbourne, I have to go through Adelaide, or to get to Sydney, I've got to go through Brisbane. To get to Canberra, I've either got to go through Adelaide or Brisbane. So I have no other. So that's Darwin done. Next one, Brisbane. You can see I've got a degree of 3 there. Oh, and Darwin, you can actually see it's got a degree of 3. 1, 2, 3. They're just not all in the one spot. Brisbane, I have a degree of 3. So I've got 1 going to Darwin, already done. I have 1 going to Sydney, done. Now, this is where it does get a little weird, because even though I said there's a degree of 3, if we come down here, I can go to Canberra and Adelaide. So I can go from Brisbane to Canberra, but I can also go from Brisbane to Adelaide. And if you look closely, I can actually go through there to Melbourne without going to another city either. So you end up with a degree of like 5 on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What else am I missing? Can I get to Perth? I think I can. I can go up this way. I can come down this way. I can go over there. Yep, I can get to Perth as well. So there you go. There's a lot coming from Brisbane. And then from Sydney, I've obviously got Brisbane to Sydney. Now Sydney goes to Canberra. Sydney, I can also go to Melbourne. This is where it starts to get a bit compressed. Sydney, I can go to Adelaide, but I cannot go to Perth, or can I? If I try and go to Perth from Sydney, I've either got to go to Brisbane, so I rule that one out, but I can come down here, I can go around there. No, if I go down there, I'm at Melbourne. If I go there, I'm at Adelaide. Oh, I could go back up. No, I'm at Brisbane again. So no, I cannot go from Sydney to Perth without going through it. And we're down to Melbourne. So Melbourne, I can obviously go to Adelaide, I can go to Brisbane, I can go to Canberra, and I can go to Sydney. So Melbourne goes there. I've already got the one to Sydney. I've already got the one to Brisbane. I've already got the one to... I don't have the one to Canberra, so there we go. I've got the one to Canberra. So that is the network diagram. Now, obviously, when I've done that, it's a little bit messy. I probably would have liked to have moved Canberra out further, just to make that spread out a bit more. It's not essential, but it would make it a lot easier. I always say that when we're doing these network diagrams, the first one you do in pencil, because that way you can always change it if you need to. But apart from that, we're done.